not possible. Like, that's not possible, bro. This is like, and somebody made a comment, bro. This is like you said talking about coloring last week. Last episode, what the comment say? Nah, like, what the fuck you mean you ain't never colored before? Like, come, bruh, you never seen the full episode of the Rick James Chappelle show?
I've never seen.
Why?
I seen that skit. I seen the standing on the couch, bitch. Is that the Prince episode too?
No, Prince is a different episode. The Rick James one. The whole episode was based off of that skit. The Charlie Murphy True Hollywood Story. How does that happen? That's what I want to know. That's what I really want to know. How does that happen? Like, how do you not color? How do you miss that whole beat? And the reason why is because if you were 19, I'd be like, all right, then cool. Like, go watch it, whatever the case is. You were outside. Everybody knows Spike Lee was outside. You was outside when this shit was going on. Like, that was 2004. This shit was popping. Like, there's no way that you missed.
That's why, because I was outside though.
I didn't watch. All people were talking about, man. Like, that episode was. I never forget going to school the next day. It's all people could talk about. I don't know how you missed it.
I could not tell you why I have not seen that, but I've never watched that episode before. I didn't even know until you just told me that it was the E Hollywood Story shit. I thought it was just Rick James.
Not Charlie Murphy True Hollywood. You disrespectful as fuck, bro. R.I.P. Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy.
None of that. Do you know who Charlie Murphy is? Let's start.
Eddie Murphy brother. Yes, Eddie Murphy brother.
He's more than that, but all right. R.I.P. Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy would. He was working on Chappelle's show. He would tell stories about famous Hollywood. You probably have you seen the famous deleted one? A lot of people don't know about this unless you had to delete it. It's been popping up recently in the past year or two, where Charlie Murphy told the story about Derek Stingley's grandfather. You know Derek Stingley for the Texans. His grandfather was paralyzed playing football by Jack Tatum. And he told the story about being in the same restaurant as him, and he was hating on his brother. He was hating on Eddie Murphy as they came in the restaurant and shit. And Charlie Murphy went over there and said, "I'll flip your fucking chair over and stomp your mouth." Like, I don't play about this shit. It's a real famous, hilarious clip, and obviously out of pocket because my man's really couldn't move anything but his head, and he pretty much told, "I'll dump you on that shit. I'll make that shit stop working too."
Wait a minute. I missed that. You said he was paralyzed?
Yes, Jack. So it's Daryl Stingley, who was the grandfather of Derek Stingley. Daryl Stingley's passed on since then. Okay.
Yes.
He got paralyzed from a football accident. He was at a restaurant, or excuse me, Eddie Murphy, Charlie.
He was in the chair and shit.
Yes, he was in the chair with some women, and the women with him was like that. Eddie and them came in the restaurant. I guess they were at the next table, and the women with them were looking at Eddie because this is the '80s. Eddie Murphy, him and Michael Jackson, hotter than fish grease, right? So women looking at him saying like, "Fuck Eddie Murphy, like punk ass nigga, like fuck buckwheat, all that shit." He was just talking shit, like nigga, I got money, fuck that nigga. Nigga, that corny ass nigga, all that shit. Right? In the wheelchair. And you know, they trying to be respectable. Charlie just don't play that shit. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care what you look like, what disability you have, bro. You talking shit, I'm gonna come over there. He said, I walked over there and said, "You want me to flip your fucking chair over? I'll stomp you in the mouth and shit like that." And he said he was shook.
I respect Charlie Murphy for that. Maybe be playing with me because you a paralegal.
he said he went back to the table after checking him. He said his brother and everybody was like, "Come on, man, you can't do that. That's fucked up." He was like, "Hey, man, you hear any more fuck Eddie Murphys? You hear any more Eddie Murphys a bitch? Nah, that nigga over there eating his food, ain't he? Like that's what he's supposed to be doing."
Somebody was feeding him. But yeah, I ain't never watched.
It was a whole thing.
I ain't watched skit comedy, bro. Like I watched The Living Color because I feel like that was the best shit that it was, and I ain't watched shit after that. I tried Mad TV. And of course, you see the skits that are popular. Like I know the Key and Peele one with the football names. That's popular as hell. You know what I'm talking about?
Obama handshake. You just said what about the
Obama handshake? Yeah, that one. That's really the only ones that stand out to me. And of course, like I know all of the. I know like the blind clan dude from Chappelle. I know him.
That was first episode.
Seen those. Yeah. Of course, the Prince shit.
Yeah, that was a few episodes after, or maybe the next episode after the Charlie Murphy season 2 of Chappelle Show, bro. Just go back and watch it.
It's streaming on Netflix.
It should be, yes. And just from the simple fact of you will forget how silly that shit was. Like it's just genuinely goofy. These episodes like 25, 26 minutes, and it's just like watching it makes you think like, what the fuck? Like the nigger family, like having a white
Yeah, the
family and
niggers.
naming them
I know,
nigger.
that.
Like that's like just watching that shit is just hilarious. Negro Diamonds, like all that shit is funny.
I remember that one. I just don't know.
Right.
I ain't never seen them, but we was talking about that list as far as the top 10 TV shows.
Yeah.
And they had it. You were pretty well versed in TV.
Yeah.
You got the list?
Yeah, I got it in front of me right now.
You want
to go ahead and read? I'll start at number 10. So this is the Ringer's best TV episodes of the century. Starting at number 10, you have the Final Four, which is Survivor season 1, episode 13. Like Spike Lee, I do not watch Survivor, but I know that it was an immediate hit.
Yeah. I couldn't understand how a reality show would be even on this list if we just talking about like that don't even register to me. So I'm disqualifying that one.
Well, it's similar to I'm watching the New York Times top 100 movies of the past 25 years. And I'm in the 50s right now, or 50 through 41 or something of that nature. And there are certain films where you just know this is like an artsy pick, or it's just kind of to implement the importance of it at the time. It's almost like a time capsule, right? So like
so you're saying they're just showing love to reality TV by putting us there.
So when I think of lists like this, when I think of lists like this, I think of it trying to tell the story of movies in the past 25 years. And there's certain things you really can't tell the story of without mentioning other things. So for example, Superbad. Like I know Superbad was a big hit. Being a 38-year-old man now, it doesn't hit the same as I was when I was in high school or that same age. It's just goofy slapstick comedy. It's cool, but I understand why it's on the list because it's hard to talk about top 100 movies and not include like the perennial teen movie of that era, right? And I think
there's so many people in that list too. On that movie. I just had to review it this year,
and they had to, and they ended up being big names. It doesn't hold up the same for me like it did when you first watch it, but you understand why it's on the list. I understand why Survivor's on here because it kind of opened up the door. I mean, for somebody like me, I was more of a real world guy, but I know that something like that wouldn't make this. But Survivor was an instant smash when it came out, especially with reality TV.
I remember.
So I think it's their way of saying, "Hey, we can't tell this story without including one of the most important reality TV moments."
I give you
from
that.
Modern television. I'm with you. Like I said, I don't like when lists do that. I wanted to be authentic, but that's the thing with lists. We've never seen a list where we 100% agree with, right?
Facts.
I think that's kind of it. Number 9, way too low. The Wire, season 3, episode 11, Middle Ground. That is the infamous link up between two people that you didn't think would link up.
Is that the Rooftop Talk? What is that?
The same episode? I don't think so. That's the episode
Rooftop
where
was before that. Rooftop was before that.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, you would think that we would know that off the top of our head as much as we love that show.
I'm thinking that was because that's the confrontation episode.
Yeah. But I don't know if that was in the same episode.
It wasn't. The Rooftop was before.
Okay, yeah. So this is penultimate of season 3. One day we'll have to do a best episode ever on The Wire. I'm not going to disagree with it, but it is one of those episodes, especially first watch.
Oh yeah, because of what happened.
It's definitely one of those episodes. Absolutely. I just don't understand how it's so low. That was number 9. Number 8, Succession, season 4, episode 3, Connor's Wedding.
No notes.
Remember that?
No notes.
Remember that like yesterday.
Yes.
Shout out to my boy Brian, just reaching out to me saying, "Hey man, I don't even know what to say after this episode of Succession." Like,
notes. That was a perfect episode of TV.
It really was, and it did. We talked about this on No More Half Measures. I talked about number 6 on this list, which is Ozymandias, Breaking Bad. That's a 10 out of 10. Over millions of people have voted on this. That means over 2 million, however many people have said this episode is perfect. Connor's Wedding was like that for a while. I think it dropped to like a 9.9, but it was, after its premiere, a perfect episode. They were the only 2 up there. We started this episode discussing Chappelle Show, season 2, episode 4. That's the Rick James episode. That's number 7. And I mentioned Ozymandias being number 6 on this list. The only 10 out of 10 episode of television on IMDb.
Another perfect
another perfect episode, especially when you take in the entire story of what's going on. Number 5, Pine Barrens, Sopranos season 3, episode 11. I know people love this episode. I know a lot of people say this is the best episode of Sopranos. It is not for me.
It ain't the best episode, but it goes back, I think, to what you're saying about reality TV and Survivor being on the list. That's the only standalone episode. And being such a masterpiece of what The Sopranos is, as we talked about on Good Earners, you can't just jump in anywhere because of how the show is and where the story's told, with the exception of that one episode. So I feel like that's the reason that they chose that episode, because every other episode needs a prerequisite, other than, of course, the pilot.
Yeah.
But I think this is the reason why. Yeah. But you know, exactly.
That's fair. That's a, you know what? That's a good point, because off memory, I'm saying Blue Comet is the best episode. There's some other ones.
To somebody
you
watching,
can't just watch. Yeah, you can't just watch Blue Comet, but
you wouldn't know what was going. Blue Comet won't hit like that without context. Pine Barrens won't hit like that without context.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah.
Number 4 on the list, True Detective season 1, episode 4. Who goes there?
Nailed it. You remember that?
I was gonna
when
say,
they were shooting. They were shooting through the.
I'm gonna pull a Spike Lee. I've never seen True Detective.
Oh, you at least got to see season 1.
I know that's the one to say is it.
Season 1 is legendary. Season 3, Marshall Ali. One of the best acting performances you're probably gonna see on a TV show in season 3. But season 1 is really good. The good thing about these, you can skip through them. You ain't got to watch 2 because it's probably the worst.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't that good. Shout out to Mahershala Ali, man. I was watching Jurassic Park when it came out in theaters this summer, and it made me remember, like, I miss watching you in movies, bro. I miss watching you act. Like, I want to see you do more. I know he got the Blade stuff going and all that, but Mahershala Ali is a hell of a performer, hell of an actor. We got season.
If you fuck with him,
he
absolutely bodied it.
Yeah, I remember. I still think about Cottonmouth on Luke Cage. Did you watch Luke Cage? Season 1 of Luke Cage, he was the villain, man. He bodied it. That might have been a lot of people's first time really knowing he got in the bag like that.
I remember him from the Netflix show House of Cards. He was a lobbyist.
He was in House of Cards.
Yeah,
I gotta go back and watch House of Cards.
He was a lobbyist in House of Cards. Yeah,
that would be a fun list, like just the top 10
Facts.
Instant classics, like show. Like that was that came out the gate, and you were first 30 seconds of that show. Choking that dog out. I'm like, I gotta watch this.
And then by the end of
season 1, the fourth wall breaks.
Come on,
the way they open up season 2, like with
classic TV.
Yeah,
that's classic TV right there.
Kevin Costner fucked up the bag.
Nigga said he home. Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Nigga said he homeless now.
Yeah, I seen that. I believe it.
Tough shit.
Yeah,
tough shit, buddy.
Yeah, can't be out here doing what you're doing, bro.
Yeah, tough shit.
We got the top 3. Number 3 is Game of Thrones season 3, episode 9, The Reigns of Castamere. Understand why it's on that list. It's kind of what you just said, Spike Lou, as far as a big moment. And having
better episodes of Game of Thrones, yes,
much better episode. I won't say much better. This isn't. It ain't like this is dog shit, but
right.
I don't know if there was more of a.
This is the biggest moment in the series, probably, other than the end, maybe.
Yeah, and it caused the most traction online and conversations. I'm a Battle of the Bastards guy. I'm a
Hard Home for me.
Hard Home is another big one, but I don't remember any more water cooler talk than this episode. Like this is what had everybody going crazy. Hodor too, but they still don't even measure up to this as far as just the first time watch, the first viewing. Like, what? Like there was, you just didn't expect it, and that's coming from a show that had in their first season, I think episode 9.
Episode 9 is the only thing comparable to it, I would say.
Yeah, but so the show had already established itself.
What a Purple Wedding,
following traditional.
The Purple Wedding too, though.
That was after this, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying that could be one of the ones. Yeah, so
yeah, absolutely. The Mountain and the Dragon, like all of that, or Mountain and the Viper.
Mountain and the Viper. Yeah,
they got some. Listen,
damn, once again, was a hell of a show right there, man. That was a hell of a TV show.
It was actually nasty to see them fumble the bag at the 5-yard line. They did the They did the Patriots. They did the Seahawks slant pass when you got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. They couldn't get it. Yeah. They couldn't get that series over the hump.
This might have been before your time. That was the Leon Lett joint. Since I'm a Cowboys fan,
yeah, I know Leon Lett.
That was a Leon Lett joint right there.
It's crazy because after Leon Lett did that goofy shit, they didn't lose another game that year.
Right.
All the way to the Super Bowl.
Well, no, that was in the Super Bowl. That was in the Super Bowl.
No.
He did it again. No, that was in the Super Bowl. Don Beebe called him. What he did on Thanksgiving and we was playing in the snow.
Oh,
all he had to do was
go
so the Super Bowl one when he ran and hit the ball out. And the other one that he did is it was the snow and
I was talking about against Miami.
Let the ball die. Yeah, that's it. That's against Miami. Where he had to let the ball die and his big fat ass just had to jump on it.
We got number 2. Mad Men season 4 episode 7, The Suitcase. Neither one of us have watched Mad Men. I started it, but it's on my list because I see too many lists with having it on their top 5, so I got to see where it picks up and how it works out. I want to give it a shot. And then number 1, Lost season 4 episode 5, an episode that you reference all the time. I know you probably had 0 issues with this. The Constant is number 1. Probably the most shocking moment of TV in the past century. If you kept up with the show.
Man, listen to me. That shit I still remember for my first time seeing it.
Yeah, man.
Like, oh shit. So here's where the conversation came in while we even talking about that, guys. And we'll introduce the show in a minute and get to everything. So I put this in the frames per second chat. If y'all follow movies, TV, we review those. Go check them out. Frames per second podcast, Reddit, wherever, Instagram. So, Rich, I put this in there, and they always get on me and say I'm anti-black TV. And the niggas tell me this is a white-ass list. Get this white-ass list out of here.
But you didn't make the list.
I didn't make the list. I just posted.
Yeah, I know.
So I doubled down in my usual self. And I was like, well, what black show, what black show deserves to be on this list where you knock it? You can knock Survivor off, cool. But tell me, you've seen 80% of it because you've seen everything but Mad Men and True Detective. 80% of this list, you would agree that those deserve to be on there, right?
Yeah, the argument is made where I can't say you tripping. I can't say you tripping on all the stuff that I've seen. I understand it.
So you tell me what black show that you think has a case that has an episode strong enough to be on that list?
I'm gonna start with probably Insecure. I know it wouldn't make a list like this. Low-key Happy
choice.
Season 4 episode 5. This is the Issa and Lawrence reconciliation. This is them after years of the back and forth, just having a grown-up moment where they can go out and have a conversation about everything that went down.
I remember that.
How they got to where they did. The cinematography in that episode was incredible. There's a shot in that episode where they go to an art walk, and there's this red and blue light in the background where they contrast each other perfectly. It was just beautifully shot. The topic and the nature of the conversation was beautiful. If you ever been in a situation with someone where that's your dog, but you really can't get on the same page, or, you've been through the fire and you still, are good, even if it's not all the way there, but you're still in a space where you can talk. And, there's a line in the episode, hey man, no eggshells. We know each other too well for that. Just that beauty of knowing someone that well to where we don't have to bullshit. We don't have to sugarcoat. We know what it is. We ain't been together some years. I'm sure you've been doing your thing. I've been doing my thing. Like, let's not pretend to do the polite shit. Let's be real. That's just one of my favorites. And there's probably more that Insecure fans will probably the finale of season 1. You talk about having the internet on fire when Lawrence was clapping them cheeks when Issa came home.
The girl from Best Buy.
When she came home from the bank, when Issa came home thinking she wanted to talk to Lawrence and found that Best Buy shirt, and it panned over the nigga Lawrence clapping them cheeks. Nigga, I might have did an audible yell in my apartment, bro. I get up like, yeah, nigga, like that was my dog. So Insecure. I'm thinking there's got to be. I will say this.
I know what you're going to say next, because it's the one they say.
There's got to be an episode of Atlanta on here.
It is though. If you're gonna put one into consideration, that's what I feel. I have to rewatch Insecure because I do remember those moments, but I've only watched it once. So I don't know if I can agree or disagree with you there, but I do feel like that's high quality TV that could be considered for this list. But the Atlanta episode is the fake FUBU shirt episode. That's
Here's the thing about a list like this, who ain't us making it, they would have picked the Teddy Perkins episode.
That's insane.
I don't know if they would have understood, but you get what I'm saying? They wouldn't have understood
the
culture
episode is
enough.
The episode, though, right?
But you got to be
episode,
from the culture.
I feel like
you have to be from our culture to understand that and know that.
Really, you think so? I think that resonates like across culture. I think that he told that story well enough that people got that.
You think Bill Simmons from Boston, who owns the Ringer, created the Ringer, understands the dilemma between having the FUBU with the Fruit of the Loom in the back and having the authentic joint? You think he understands the significance of why all of this happened?
But the ending and what happened from that, and like encapsulating all of it and showing how like relatively small of a deal it was, but what it led to, like you can't do shit. You can't really do TV better than that. That shit was fair. Like what happened at the end?
Yeah, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is I don't know if it's always, I don't know if it, Atlanta's just one of those shows where so much of it was just being black. Yeah. Like you had to be black to understand some of that stuff in there.
The same way.
Barbershop might have been my choice.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Barbershop might have been my choice, man. Season 3 was as y'all say, was some slaw. And then the finale was good.
The finale
was good. Finale could have been on there.
What an episode. Actually, Atlanta do got some heat though. Now that I'm thinking about it, the episode where the cousin and Earn got in a fight after they went up to the frat park.
Up north, bro. That's a classic episode. That's a classic
invisible
episode.
car, the invisible car episode.
That's the night they went to the club. Yeah, it's got a lot of it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what else I could have put on there. I could have put that episode 7 of Paradise.
I thought that, but I thought it was too soon. But that's definitely
I can see that.
I could put that on this list with any one of those TV shows.
Yeah, outside of that, I had to do some digging and some thinking, but those are the ones that immediately came to mind. If you made a blacklist, I'm sure we could probably do that.
I could do a blacklist.
There would have to be an episode of Snowfall on there. I don't know what episode. Once again, if you just talk about telling a story, there's got to be an episode of Snowfall that can make that top 10.
Yeah. No,
we're talking about obviously we're not talking about the series as a whole. We're just talking about just pure episodes.
No, you're right. There's definitely like maybe off the top of my head, I can think of maybe 3.
Yeah.
When Franklin got robbed, they had to go get the money back, which almost first time made me stop watching it, period. But in a rewatch, it's like, damn, that shit was crazy. When Bo Franklin got shot. Yeah, man. Yeah. They had some fire ass episodes of Snowfall. So you could,
Yeah. So
we need to make that blacklist. Do a little one-off little something. That'll be fire.
We'll talk about how that content as a whole. We'll talk about that this episode. But long intro. However, we are back. Book 2, chapter 48.
Niggas that don't watch TV was hitting at 15 seconds. Like, man, nigga, come on.
Yeah, y'all still going? Might have to timestamp this joint. Actually,
you might have to.
Yeah. Let me try to put our time in here for it so we can make sure that people know when the actual episode starts. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Once again, chapter 48. Back at it again. I'm your host, Rich, joined by the legend Spike Lou. Lou, not only how you feeling, but how was your birthday, man?
Feeling good, feeling great. You know what I'm saying? Birthday was good. Got to go home, chill with the family and friends and get some love, what Mitch say. Got to go see the people, you know what I'm saying? But I had a good time, man. I enjoyed the holiday. Did way too much moving around one of them nights. Slick still might be recovering from that. It was like an old school night. But yeah, I had fun, man. I always have fun going to see my people, getting into the mix.
What did you do for yourself? It was your birthday. What did you do for yourself? Like, what was your gift to yourself, whether it be something you did, something you purchased, whatever the case is?
Did I buy anything? That's a good question. On my actual birthday, no. The day before, I went and got me something good to eat. When I took a nice little, you know what I'm saying, before I left town, I went to one of my favorite spots now here in the A, chill, got me some food. You know what I'm saying? Took in the scenery, so that was cool. That was, yeah.
Hey man, people was asking, man, did you get the number? Did you get Coloring Book's number? People wanted to know.
Of course. I'm sure. Actually, she got mine. I want to get it straight. Because look, so I'm funny about that because I know that I'm not looking to like really be in a relationship. Yeah, like something serious. Yeah. So I'll keep. I can talk. We'll have a good time, chill. I can be the best personality or whatever you may be. But when we get up and leave, I may not ever talk to you again.
You remember that? You remember that scene in Hitch?
Yeah.
when he just bounced, like had her whole interest and got up and just dipped.
Yeah, she gave me or I gave her we exchanged Instagrams and then I shot her a message and then yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, because you can't just you can't lead with I'm not looking for nothing serious because she could look at you and be like, nigga, who said I was doing?
Right.
So you gotta play it cool. Yeah. But once you know it reaches that point, you gotta like, listen, I'm just gonna let you know what this is. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to your birthday. Shout out to Mo. We dropped a little thing, not a little, but we dropped a Giving Thanks episode on Thanksgiving, just to make sure we checked in with y'all. And then we had a Torn Pages, where Mo and myself had a conversation from June of 2024 for the Culture Garden podcast, which I'm a host of. And it was a random episode where we spoke for 2 hours with no script. We didn't have anything planned. We were supposed to record a movie. Something happened. We were going to cancel. And Mo was just like, you know what, let's record something. So it was a two-parter because that first half was a completely different conversation from the second half. The second half was more fit up for film and movies. So we already posted that on Culture Guard. And this one I've just been sitting on for a little while. And I was just like, you know what? This would be perfect for another week in the books. Nice Torn Pages. And we got some good feedback on it. People enjoyed it. And Mo even put the old school intro. So he didn't use the new intro. He used the old school because it was like a book one feel with him in there. So shout out to Mo for doing that. Speaking of, I want to read some comments that we received from the past couple episodes. I had mentioned we had got some feedback, so I want to make sure I read this. Let's see. I don't know if I read this from our chapter 47. I'm going to do it anyway. And this is crazy because I'm reading this in real time. So chapter 47, our guy, Q, B Divine Thought, he left a comment, appreciate it, fellas. And he also mentioned that he's currently reading The Man the Moment Demands. That's insane because I'm reading it as well. It's a Jason Wilson book. I think, Spike, you might have mentioned it before.
Joe mentioned it to me.
Yeah, I think Joe might have even talked about it when he was on here. So I want to make sure that we shout that out because we do want to get y'all reads and what y'all doing or what y'all reading, excuse me. Public Enemy B, our guy. Great episode. Enjoy the conversation and transparency displayed. Continue to give yourselves grace where it can be allotted. Y'all record 1 million times through the week, plus having to deal with real day-to-day things. Keep being great and continue to get better. We certainly appreciate that.
Appreciate that, my brother.
Absolutely, man. No idea how comments like that really help you go in and kind of solidify that you're doing the right thing. And then he also made a comment, hey, working the phones and call centers is the absolute worst job, especially if you do have tech support billing. And y'all was right about the talent. Yes, the talent in there is elite, immaculate. A lot of talent comes through those doors.
All world talent.
All world talent, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Our Giving Thanks episode. I don't know why these comments aren't popping up. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
We're gonna pull this up on the phone in real time. They're not popping up on the desktop. Bear with us, good people. So I'm not editing any of this out.
Have you did your while you pulling it up, your Apple replay? You got Apple Music, right? Are you still?
No, I got Tidal, bro. Yeah. Don't worry about what we doing over here, bro.
Do they even got an algorithm? Like, how
come on, man. That's why I ain't left yet, because the algorithm know me too well. But I found those episodes, those comments from the Giving Thanks. Public Enemy B, once again. Thank y'all for using your voices to help challenge each other and all of the bookworms. It's much appreciated. Keep being great. I responded, we really appreciate you for constantly encouraging us and being part of this journey. It means the world. And then he also made a comment, never coloring in your life is wild. LOL.
Y'all niggas, what was y'all niggas coloring it?
And then he said, okay, the reasoning made sense, which I commented back with, nah, don't help him justify that nonsense. Spikes act like he been outside since he was 2. Being too cool to color is crazy.
I never said I was too cool. I told you why. That's part of the reason. But that's part of the reason.
All the time, bro.
That's part of the reason why I write with my left hand. Like trying that shit with one hand and didn't work. Like fuck that shit. I was playing like football and shit. There was no coloring, nigga. What grade did you color in, nigga? And how do you remember? You were coloring in what?
You just kids. You a kid. That's one of the first things you do. Got a coloring book,
kid, bro.
You go to the restaurant. You never go to the restaurant and sit down and give you the little sheet, the color on color.
That shit. Nah.
You never go to Red Lights. Oh man, get this guy out of here. You was right. Niggas order peanut coladas and shit.
Give me the sports page, man. I used to tell the waiter to bring me the sports page.
Hey, Spike, well, man, you 101, bro. I swear on everything, you 101. So yeah, shout out to the comments that we received, and also we had one more from the episode, the Torn Pages episode. Let me see if I can get that pulled up, man. You a funny dude. He said, bring me the sports page. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Public Enemy BB also mentioned, glad to finally hear this conversation. These types of combos are always dope. It's great to get insights into what inspires creators and what their starting points were. Yeah, it was a creators on creators series, which I still have an idea of. We'll revisit this. I got a lot of ideas. So Spike and myself got a lot of work to do as far as business ventures and stuff that we're doing. But it's timely because Variety is now releasing their Actors on Actors this weekend, this Friday, starting that. I've always been a big fan of that because I'm always fascinated. Not just people, a normal interview is a journalist or somebody who's in that space talking to somebody about what they have going on or what they're doing. There's something about people who do the same thing talking to each other, where it's not an interview, it's more of a conversation, how they approach things. And that's always been fascinating to me. There's a list of people I love to do that in this space with, just to kind of what keeps your creative juices flowing, what inspires you still, what are you working towards, all of that.
Now that you say that, they should do that in sports. That'll be fire.
Yeah, a lot of it. You can do it on any platform, No different. I love workplace shows, like workplace dramas. Like I think that's just a lane that you can always win with because it's very relatable. And that's why The Office was a big hit. That's why you see like St. Dennis, which is a new big hit, and all of that stuff.
The Paper.
And The Paper, yeah. So there's a ton of them. I'm sure some that I'm not even mentioning. Succession might be the best workplace drama ever / family drama. But that stuff's always fascinating. So I don't even know what the main point I was going to get to with that, but either way.
You were talking about how workplace interactions, how entertaining it is. Like if we sit and watch Anthony Edwards talking to not KD, a contemporary, I would love to see
like Shay.
Yeah, that would be Shay ain't got enough personality, but that would be cool because I love to see them talk.
Well, does he? We don't know. His captions be hitting.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
He might. I don't follow either, but I know he's known for his captions. Yeah, he's known for his captions. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I
follow enough basketball pages to know like they'll retweet some of his captions.
Gotcha.
Because it's always timely. Yeah, it's just his thing.
I love to see Lamar and Patrick sit down and talk. That'll be fire.
Yeah, that would be dope. All of that would be fire. I think that's what. They started it with This Is Athlete, but they're not contemporary. There needs to be somebody that's setting that up.
Yeah, like contemporaries, people that are. I don't know if
and nobody else in the room. I don't want to hear no. I don't want nobody else to be it. I just want y'all
no mediator.
To talk about. I want to see Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes talk about that 15 seconds game or whatever it was in the playoffs. Like I want to hear them talk about their perspective and what they think of when they see each other. Just same way in this space, right? Even with me and Mo, that was the whole point. Like I want to make sure Mo gets his flowers and he knows what I see when I see him working and all that, and the struggles, right? There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which we'll talk about in this episode that
Question.
are very interesting.
If you could do that, and not like glazing or nothing, I ain't asking you for that reason, but if it was somebody that most people know that you could do that with in your field, who would it be?
That's a very good question. Somebody that's like known already, a celebrity, podcast celebrity in a sense.
Yeah. Podcast, content, media.
Probably Rachel. I probably want Rachel Lindsay. I love to rap for Rachel Lindsay. Yeah. Van was the first question, like the first answer. But Van gives you so much of who he is and his personality that I think I'd be more interested to learn more about Rachel.
You trying to shoot a shot? That's all.
Hell yeah. You know that too. Hell yeah. Like, without question. But I think it would be a dope combo though.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. Who am I being? Damn. I think my natural instinct is Joe.
I had a feeling he was gonna say that.
Yeah, I think that's my natural instinct to say that. Or Wallow. But I ain't trying to get
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
Yeah, hit us up, y'all. Leave a comment. Who would you talk to if you could have any chance to
well, who would you like to hear us talk to? Because if you don't do this,
like,
what would be your ideal sit down for Rich and your ideal sit down for me?
Yeah.
Slick Mike would do Bill Simmons, though, to be honest with you.
That would be a good one. I think that one. Shay Serrano would be a good one too. I'm a big fan of Shay.
I got so many, man. But
I'm a big fan of Shay. Yeah, Bomani would be good. There's a lot of people that would be interesting to talk to. I would like to talk to. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So we'll say with that. One day you'll see us talking to one of those people, or some of those people, or all of them. You know, I'm gonna speak that into existence now. But
yes, sir.
I don't have a question of the week for you this week. I don't have anything. Do you have anything off the top of your head?
No.
Okay. We'll make sure we bring something back for next week. As we get into this episode, we got our Spotify wrap back. So we kind of want to end it with it. Okay, 1 second. We're going to end this episode discussing our Spotify wrapped, and we're going to have another conversation from an unexpected source. DJ Academics has some very, dare I say, insightful things to say about the state of podcasting that Spike wanted to make sure we touched on. But before we get into that, Spike has just came up with the question of the week. What you got, my brother?
I had it because I seen your pictures over the holidays with your niece, right?
Niece. Yeah, man. Shout out to her, man.
I seen you enjoying the little bundle of joy.
Yeah.
And I got to ask this question when I was up there and advised against it. So, question of the week: would you consider having kids at this stage in your life?
Would I consider it? Yeah, absolutely. Would it happen? I don't know. But I would consider it. I always mention kids as kids are one of those things where I'm right in the middle on. And I know that sounds crazy to say because people are like, hey, you should really want it if you want to be a father. It's too important. I get that. What I mean when I say that is, hey, if I met a woman and we're dating and it's getting serious, it wouldn't be a deal breaker one way or another. If she said, hey, I don't want to have kids, I'd say that's cool. If she says I do want to have kids, I'd say that's cool. Like I don't think I would be leaning one way or the other. I don't think I would stop the relationship because, oh, you don't want to have any kids. We can't do this. Where I think in my younger years, I definitely would have. Like I definitely would have, I want 2 or 3 or whatever the case is. Now it's just, man, I just want, what works for me.
That's a good answer.
What about you? And I will say, I'll add while you about to say, having a niece does make things easier because it does make things easier because you have almost like an extension. That's my sister's daughter. So being able to spend time and being able to spoil her and show up for her events and pull up whenever I need to without the day-to-day care, like being with them, because it was a great trip. My sister lives out of the state, and I didn't leave that. Only time I left the house was to take the trash out, and that was just 2 steps outside. It was pure relaxation, pure family time. If the Bengals hadn't been pissing me off so much, we would have went to the game because the Bengals were playing in the city. But I was just like, nah. So it was a good time, but you do get more of an insight of what that day-to-day life looks like. Those moments when she might be fussy and she might, you know what I mean? Like, those are things that you can't just stay on the game or do whatever. You got to tend to your child. Like, there's a lot of things that parents do and they sacrifice. I don't want to say sacrifice like it's a bad thing, but your life isn't about you.
A bad thing, yeah. That may not be a bad thing. It's a thing though.
Life isn't about you anymore.
I'm like you. If I were to meet a woman that I liked and was in a relationship with, it wouldn't make or break. It wouldn't make or break if she said she did or she didn't. But I'm more leaning towards I'm straight. I'm super straight.
All right, so here's a follow-up question for you. I'm laughing because it might be a fucked up mentality, but here we go. Let's say this woman that you meet has kids of her own. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm just being all the way honest with y'all. I don't know what it is, but there's something about not having kids of my own and raising someone else's. Like, I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but I would want more. I would want to, and that sounds fucked up, right? Because I don't believe in treating kids differently. Like, if I'm with your mom, then I'm gonna bring you in. It's like part of my family too. We've also seen those viral videos of niggas finding out 6 years later the kids ain't theirs. Everybody go. Everybody get out the house. So I think there is something, and I can't define what this is. Maybe it is insane. And that's why I'm trying to make sure people understand I don't believe in that. But I don't know how to define that feeling of you have 2 children or 1 child, because I don't think I'd ever go over 2.
1 is the threshold.
Yeah, 1 is probably ideal. 2 is a lot.
You ain't got no kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would have to be a very special young lady too. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Yeah, so
that would have to be like, nigga, how her baby daddy fumble her.
And like, just to be clear, for context, we're not saying that women with 2, 3, 4, 5 kids don't deserve love. Absolutely. But for brothers like us who don't have any kids, that could be a lot to ask of. That is a blended family situation. You find you a dude with 2, 3 kids, y'all make that work. It's going to be hard to ask a person without children to go ahead and step in. Now, some men do it. Shout out to them, man.
Why you think
the community really needs them? Why do I think what it is?
It'll be
it's hard for us.
What you just said. Yeah,
that's what I said. I don't know how to define it. I don't know how to define it. I don't know what that is. Maybe you can help me out, because there is something about just saying, man, why am I? If I'm raising children, I can raise mine. You feel me? Like, go ahead. Let's go ahead and get this shit pumping. You feel me when I'm saying?
I am. It would give you more incentive to want to have another one with her.
I don't think I could. I don't know if I'm raising children, one of them got to be one that came from me.
Guess what I'm saying? So what if she had one and she on the fence?
All right, let me stop.
And would you be like, nah, let's go and have another one just so you can feel like it's evened out?
Yes. Unless I was 100% so, and it's either no kids or you having one of my children. If you bring kids into it, like, it's just that's just what it is.
Now you got,
and I don't know. I don't
see now. I feel even more gypped. Because now I got to take care of 2 kids, and I just had 1. Like, I feel like I could take care of 1 kid, the one that's already there. But now, if I gotta have one with her, we got 2 kids. That's a little bit more bite out of the apple
for me.
But I get what you're saying, and I probably agree with it. But also, my brain look at it like, God damn, now I got a newborn and her 7-year-old.
Well, that
she got to be at least 7. If
at this part of our lives,
the kid at least 7.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you make. It's for somebody like me, I think 2 would be a good number. So I don't think I'd be tripping off that. Both of the kids don't have to be, but at least 1. Like, you can't have 1, and like there's something about the idea of you having 1 child, right? This woman having 1 child,
and I'm dating,
and I'm stepping in, and I'm dating you, and I'm raising it. Yeah, not just dating you. I'm raising your child.
That's your child. That's your child.
Yes, absolutely.
Child.
And I'm always going to claim her, him, whoever as my child. You know what I mean? I'm going to do the whole, where's the dad at?
But you just need one over there too.
I need one over there too, because I'm gonna be raising a kid that that I never even was 100% saying I wanted kids. If I happen to have one now, then one of them has to be mine. And I know that sounds fucked up, but hopefully y'all can understand what I'm saying. But I wouldn't do it half-assed, and I think that's why I can kind of say it the way I am, because like I said, I'm doing the whole you my family now. If it came to an adoption situation and that was necessary, I could probably do that. You see that a lot. I want to meet the dad if the dad's still around. I want to have a relationship, just kind of understand. Listen, I understand that I'm a stranger you don't know that's around your child all the time. I want you to know who I am. I want to make sure that if there's anything that happens, we can talk. Ain't no pulling up to the crib, ain't no angry text messages or whatever. You have my line. We can talk. Or I can hit you up and be like, yo, this, that, and the third.
Can he come over for Thanksgiving?
It depends on what's going on. But I would say, yeah.
Y'all having something at the house? He coming to chill. He watching the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I'm not one of them type dudes. Like, especially if it's established that, you know, this is what it is. You respect the relationship. Now, if you was on some bullshit and you just popping up or you trying to do too much,
no, not like I ain't.
That's a little bit. But yeah, if you cool, like absolutely, like yeah, we can do the blended family thing, and I'm not tripping. Like, you know what I mean? I'm secure enough to be on some. Now, once again, you want to be funny, I can be hilarious. So it all depends on how you act. But you're more than welcome, bro. Like, we having people over, the doors is open, drinks is flowing, weed in the air, like whatever you want to do, whatever your vice is, food, like we can do it all.
Would you invite him, or would it be like she invited him and she told you? Let's say this is, you know, the nigga, you know, you don't know if he reasonably cool from your interactions with.
Yeah.
And you know y'all having something at the crib Thanksgiving. Would she have to be like, hey, such and such ain't got nowhere to go, or he want to get a plate, and you be like, come through, or like he can chill with over here with us if you want to like hang out? Or would it be like, you know this already and you just extend the invite and tell her?
If I knew that he didn't have anywhere to go, then I would have sent the invite myself. Make sure she cool with it and just send the invite. Yeah, because you know, if there's a good like relationship, I don't see that'd be an issue. I would say it'll probably be more family stuff than social interactions. I don't think I'm having fight night at the crib and inviting you. I think that's a little bit too much.
No. I'm talking about just like a special, like Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or some shit like that. I ain't talking about like me and my homeboys chilling and I'm inviting you over.
There you go. So if it's Christmas, and listen, if it's Christmas morning and you coming to pick up, you know, your child, it's gonna be, hey man, come on in. Like we just made some breakfast, man. We having some, you know, mimosas, morning drinks, whatever the case is. Kick your feet up for a little bit, man. Merry Christmas. Probably give them a little bottle or something. Like, go ahead about your business.
I don't know. The Christmas morning might be too far for me though. We can do Thanksgiving. You can't pull up to the crib on Christmas morning though. I ain't gonna.
Not while they opening gifts. I'm talking about like that stuff's already done. I'm talking about
because I feel like
pick up your child.
For me, I feel like Christmas morning is intimate family. Like you said, we cooking breakfast. It's me, my wife, my kid. Like, even though one of them biologically yours, but you gotta wait through the week. You gotta wait till we get through, bro. Like, you ain't like, we pushing the pickup time back a little bit on Christmas. Like, you gotta bear with me.
That's fair.
That's fair. What I'm saying? But you can come chill on Thanksgiving. It could be like all that other stuff, like you said. But I feel like to me, Christmas morning a little bit more intimate, and I want to spend that with just my family. But I am open to the Thanksgiving joint though. I wouldn't be mad at that.
I understand. That's a good, for us not to have a question of the week. That was a pretty good combo we got out of that. Because that is fascinating. I want to hear y'all thoughts on that. Because like I said, I wish there was a cleaner way to say what I said, but I meant that shit. I don't know if I can just be, I don't know if I can just be raising another man's kids without having any of my own. I could, but I would want to.
Phil was my father when my biologically and father. You know where that's from?
No. Not talking about it.
When Shaq was rapping.
All right.
Remember when Shaq made that song about his dad?
What you want to talk about with the DJ? Man, like, I never thought we'd reach a day where Shaq lyrics.
Shaq bars getting dropped. I can't believe you don't remember that song, man. Phil was my real dad. So Joe Budden academics, there's been some conversation because some podcasts have closed their doors and stopped recording. If you listen to Savon and Alex, I can't think of the name of their podcast right now, but they're off of the Joe Budden tree. Damn, I can't think of the name of their podcast. Anyway, they ended their podcast, and also Elliot Wilson, DJ Head, and someone else had a podcast that they're now ending as well. That conversation led to a conversation, well, excuse me, those podcasts ending led to a conversation on Joe Budden podcast about
Is it Need to Know?
Need to Know with Savon and Alex. Yes. Okay. It led to a conversation about the landscape of podcasts in general. And in gist, what Joe said is he feels like within 6 months that you're going to see a lot more podcasting or podcasters just stop doing this because the means don't reap the rewards anymore. The cream of the crop will rise, as he said, like the people who are noticeable, who already have established footing in this place. Of course, because the blueprint is out there for you to know where to go get money from, they'll still be able to do that. But the podcasts that have been meandering in the middle or just starting, they're not going to succeed, he said, because companies are no longer going to be willing to invest in them. And that goes for if you got a name or not. We seen Michelle and Barack Obama start a podcast that fizzled out. Like they're big name people who started podcasts, and then you're like, well, damn, what happened to that? Like, did you know 2 Chainz had a podcast with his son?
What was? Yeah, I do. I remember that.
Okay, well, no, it's still happening. That's what I'm saying. A lot of podcasts with big name people are just like they're meandering in the middle. And Joe was speaking to, he think all of this shit finna die out. He's like, because people ain't gonna see the money for it anymore because podcast providers, your Spotify, Netflix, people that are paying for podcasts, they're gonna stop. I'm like, nah, bro, we ain't investing in that because we've seen the numbers over the last 3 to 4 years. We thought this shit was gonna pop, and it didn't. It hasn't. So we can spend our money elsewhere. This conversation led to DJ Academics going on about a 12-minute talk, and I need to go listen to the full stream. But it led to him going on about a 12-minute talk about
disgusting, by the way, to listen to a full DJ Academic stream. But go ahead.
I'm not doing that, but I do want to hear more about this. I never did that in my life, want to be clear. But I did watch a full stream this week, though. Second time in my life I've done that. Ben the Don, you fuck with him?
I know who he is. I know exactly who he is. I don't necessarily, I'm not a fan, but I don't dislike him.
I thought he was funny.
He's funny. He's funny.
I thought he was funny. But my boy was on there, so I had to watch it. Belly.
Okay, then got you. Oh, yeah. You told me about it. You told me
yeah, that shit was funny. But yeah, that was good. You would like that if you checked it out. But what Academic said is that he disagrees with Joe in the sense of podcasting isn't a singular thing anymore. What podcasting has become is a thing that content creators do. You're not a podcaster, you're a content creator, and the podcast is a stream of your content creation. The lane is not dead, but it has widened from the sense of if you're just doing a podcast, you're going to lose. However, if your podcast is an extension of your live stream, well, you go live on Twitter and you got a podcast, Twitter, your Spaces, or you got to go live on IG or your TikTok is popping and having a podcast, it accompanies that now. Like podcasting ain't the singular focus, which I thought was a good point. So that's what us as creators thought about and came to you guys to talk about with, to let you hear some, behind the scenes baseball, whatever it's called, as far as what we think about the comments that were said in the future of what we're doing, especially with us wanting to do more in this space.
Yeah. Go ahead, my bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's fascinating. When you sent me the clip, the first thing I thought was like, it's shocking that this is DJ Academics. I didn't know he could sound so profound and less animated and really knew what he was talking about. You can tell he knows the business in this space.
Facts.
So I can't respect that because I'm not an Academics fan at all. Like, I don't really find anything about him appealing. But I do understand that he's a presence and people listen to him. And that's on them. But this was very interesting talking about it and just the conversation about where is this space headed. I think for Joe Budden and what he does, I think that's primarily over with. Because I don't. It's going to be hard to come in the lane that way. I think if you're coming in the podcast space now, you have to be very, very specific, right? I think a company or a brand, you mentioned like Spotify.
Wait, when you say what Joe does, what do you mean?
I mean the round table, 6, 7 people just having conversations that vary from one thing to another. I know it's a hip hop podcast, but I don't think you can
have
have
a hip hop podcast no more.
That's what I'm saying. Like you don't really know how to define it, and I don't think podcasts like that are going to break through. Okay. I just don't think that there's an audience for that anymore. Going back to, if you're going to do that, then stream. I think that's what more people will want to look at. And one of the things I told you is conversations like this really make you focus on who your target audience is, because where I understand academics, where he was coming from with the content creation and the podcast being an extension of that, he also mentioned that he doesn't do a podcast before because his target audience, who is a younger crowd, they prefer to stream. They want that real-time reaction to thing. You see reaction videos are a real thing now. You know, that's been going on for some time, but people, let's talk about the battle for a minute. So when the battle was going on, a song would drop. Now you got all these reactors in real time listening to, Family Ties and listening to Not Like Us and Meet the Grams and Euphoria, and you getting that in real time, and that's it. It's the whole model of, and I think he might have mentioned this on there, it's a whole model of our era, and I don't want to speak for you. You can disagree if you like. I come from the era of episodic shows, right? If you drop in a TV show, I want it episodically because you're going to have 2.5 months worth of conversation out of this one show. Netflix came through. They dropping all the episodes at once. You can binge it in one sitting. Now, from a knowing your audience sense, there is a generation that prefers that. I want it all at once. I'm going to indulge in it. I'm going to have the conversation. We're going to move on. Me, as someone who does podcasts on television, I prefer for it to be stretched out to 10 weeks. So we can talk about it week in, week out, and have real in-depth convos. Similar to what we do with No More Half Measures, what we did with Good Earners. You can still create those kind of platforms that we have, but it's also good in real time to say, hey, this episode drops on Wednesday. On Thursday or Friday, we're going to have an episode recapping our events and going from there. But that's a niche audience, right? That's somebody who loves television. What we do, I think, is very niche, and I think we're in a safe spot. I actually think we're the version of what 2005, 2006 was right now, believe it or not. So before podcasts really blew up, like before podcasts probably blew up 2009, 2010, maybe. As far as like people know this
probably
is a real
even
thing.
not later than that, because I remember podcasts didn't blow up. I feel like till I would say 18 or 19 to be, and that's being because and here's why I say that. The only reason that I push back on that is because I remember when AB and I started doing this, which was about 2014, 13, somewhere in there. And it was about 4 or 5 years before we said, oh, we do a podcast, before people even understood what that was. Like we used to have to explain it as it's like, what a radio show, what Howard Stern or a radio show is, right? You know what the Breakfast Club is. They'd be like, oh, yeah, I do. Oh, y'all do something like that? Y'all play music? Like when we started, we played music. Like we did music in between our breaks until it got flagged or whatever it may be. Like trying to model it after traditional radio. I would say this 2025, I would say the last 4 years, podcast has gotten to its peak.
Well, I'm looking at it from the sense of, and those are great points. I'm looking at it from the sense of when the iPhone started having the podcast app built in.
And people,
that's the era that we're in right now, though. Like people don't necessarily know. They know it's something new, but they might not be all the way tapped in. I think we're in the second wave from that. I think that gold era, that gold rush, whatever you want to call it, that's over.
That's over. That's over.
When Joe was talking about when they first started and spent 3 years not making any money and all that, that's over. But I think we're right on the edge of the next wave of what this looks like. And I think with what we do and having very specific like audiences. I think if you're a sponsor, I think you're looking for those. This podcast, this brand has 5,000 loyal listeners. I'd rather take that than 100,000 subscription base, because another big thing that I think is shifting is people are being more comfortable not being necessarily a core audience. Like, you're gonna have your core audience, but there's gonna be a lot of people just coming and going, just passing through. This episode sounded interesting. So I do a movie podcast, right? Culture Guard. There are going to be people who might not listen to us all the time, but we might be doing a movie that they fuck with, and they're going to stop and listen to it. Yeah. Exactly. And that might not reflect in the subscriptions. That might not reflect in the like weekly numbers, but that's an audience that now knows, okay, then I fuck with this. Maybe I'll subscribe, and maybe when they do another one, I'm not going to listen every week, but I'm going to listen here. And I just think that having a niche lane is where it is right now. You can't, the more specific you can be, the better. What are your thoughts on all of that?
You brought up an interesting point about the gold rush thing and having a niche lane, and I agree with you. We're both educated enough in this space to understand that running to get a however much amount of money check from Spotify or whatever podcast company, the iHeart, like, that's not essentially the goal, because that leaves you with a lot less leeway. That leaves you with 2 years from now to be like, ain't nobody fucking with it. It ain't grew like we thought it would. We're gonna pull out.
That's not what independent.
Yeah, that's not what we're looking for. And that goes to what you're saying. People like us who still do podcasts, like you mentioned, the gold rush. And I always like that saying, and I think it applies here a little bit when it says, like, the people that get rich off the gold rush, it ain't the people that go find the gold. It's the people that are selling pickaxes, buckets, hats, boots, all the things for you to go look for the gold because you looking for the gold. I've been right here in this little general store for the last 20 years selling you the stuff that you need to go get it. And that's how I correlate what you're saying and agree with and what we're doing. Like, we're not looking to go to iHeart and say, hey, take 50% of my shit and give me 50% and let's do it from there. It's more so we're looking to, hey, this is what we do. This is our niche audience. It's going to be this way. It's stabled out this way. You know you're going to have this because it's been here for this many years. Fuck with this versus, trying to push me up to Joe Budden level or $1 million worth of game level or any of those major podcast levels that may go up and down or fluctuate versus like these 7, 8, 9,000 people. They've been listening for the last 18, well, I won't say 18, 12, 13 years. Like, they've been there. Like, if I'm putting merch out, they're going to buy it. If we do a live show, it's going to be 100 to 200 people in there.
Yeah.
Like, if you're and fuck, like, it ain't even got to be iHeart. It ain't got to be one of those big brands. But if you're an entrepreneur or, like you said, independent, you have the skill set. If, again, this is how you want to do it. But I can go to the people who are going to sponsor, advertise, want advertisement on the show and pitch my own deal. I don't need iHeart to do that. And that's another leg of the game to what you're talking about. From what Joe and Ack was talking about. Like, a lot of people are going to be dependent upon other people finding deals for them, as to where independent podcasts like the ones that we're associated with are going to be like, no, here's what we want for this BPI. And if you can give it to us, we're going to get the numbers. We know this is how much we get in a month, so we know how many advertisers we need. If that be the case. So it just depends on if you want to be signed or if you want to be independent. But I still think, like what you said, that the lane is still there for people to do it.
Yeah, the lane is 100% there.
You got to want to do the work. Like, how hard you want to work at it?
Well, yeah, because
I think
Ice Cube,
do you have? I think that's the biggest thing too with people like us. Is like, how much time do you have?
Yeah, I think Ice Cube had mentioned at one point, like, if you can't spend 5 years not making money from being an artist, entertainer, then you just don't even start. But that's kind of what it is. And like you said, that when you see other people making the money, and Ice actually made a decent point in the clip that Ack was playing where he compared it to music, where people used to rap for the love of rap. Facts. And then people notice that, oh, they're making money over there. We talk about Lil Baby, all this stuff like that, where you say, you mention on Old Deck constantly, I don't think Lil Baby likes to rap. I don't think he likes this. He doesn't enjoy it. He's doing it because there's a bag here and people tell him he should do it. That's the difference. That's the Kobe mindset versus the Jamarcus Russell mindset. You got all the talent, but you don't want to put in that work week in, week out to be great. They asking you what's on the film tape that they gave you. You baking up some bullshit. They were blank because they knew you ain't out here working. Versus somebody like Kobe, when we out here in Vegas getting ready for the Olympics, y'all coming in from the clubs. I'm going to the gym when y'all coming in. Like there's a difference. Mine says I want to be the best. I want to make sure I have an advantage and upper hand on whoever's coming through. And that 10,000 hours thing, people don't really care about it. We care about this space, which is why we're still in it. And a lot of shows have dropped off, or you see things and they've dropped off. And I want to talk to you about the content.
Wait. Before you move on from that, I got a question.
Go ahead.
And don't forget your thought, because I think my question goes right in with your thought. I want to know your thoughts on it because I'm torn. We love the game. Like I joked earlier, talking about paid in full. Like, we love the game. I love the hustle, nigga. Like this right here, what we're doing when you just chopping game. Like when me and AB talk, when I'm on Is the Mic Still On, any guest appearances that I do, that's what I love. Mm-hmm. Doing that, having those conversations, that's what I got into this for. Academics brought up a good point. Well, I don't know if it's Academics or Joe, but one of them said this, and they was like, nigga, but still a part of it is networking, meeting people, like learning things about not just the on the court game, but those other things that are going to make you to continue to excel. Do you feel like you love that other stuff and can do it as well as you do this stuff? Because I don't. I'll be completely transparent.
Well,
like my social battery will burn out, and like we'll be like AB just had an event where I'm in the coloring the book shit, and it was great. Like they did a great job, but at some point, it's like, bro, like I don't like kissing babies and shaking hands and doing this once a month or twice a month. Like, do you see that in your bag? Is that something you could fall in love with?
That's a good question. You mean, just to be specific and be clear, you mean the networking aspect of having
everything outside of this? So, everything. So this is one thing.
I got you.
Everything outside of this also attributes to the success of what we do. Do you like that other stuff too?
So here, what you're saying is something that I wrestle with all the time, and that it's just the reality where things are headed, which is the idea of the brand. It's not really a show anymore; it's a brand, right? And this kind of goes on what Academics was talking about as far as the content creators and the podcast being an extension of that, but their content is really what's driving things. So when you are someone like yourself or me, and we have multiple podcasts that we're part of, at some point you can't just say, oh, I'm on Is the Mic Still On, I'm on Deck, I'm on Another Week in the Books, I'm on No More Half Measures. Spike Lou has to say, I'm Spike Lou, and this is where you can find me. You have to dedicate a page to yourself, and then all the things you're a part of are part of that, right? Where we've looked at it and it's been platformed and formatted to, I have Culture Garden, I have We Got Y'all television podcast, I have Another Week in the Books, I have No More Half Measures, I have Gridiron Jungle, I have Best Episode Ever, all these other things. Once again, they're very niche. So they're in the lane of where things should be headed. But if you don't listen to one or the other, you're going to miss more content, if that makes any sense. So when we do our Spotify Write, when I talk about this, one thing that I found very interesting is they do a list of like, what are the people that listen to you the most, what else are they listening to? Of course, Is the Mic Still On? It's still on there. Because now Spike Lou's a brand to the point where, okay, I fuck with Spike Lou. What else does Spike Lou have going on? Right? So people who listen to Is the Mic Still On know you do Another Week in the Books, and they come to Another Week in the Books. Right? My goal personally is to get people who now next year when we do this Spotify Wrapped, Culture Guard listeners need to be on there. We got y'all listeners who need to be on there. That means I did something right with improving myself as a brand. And because I'm improving myself as a brand, now it increases followers. Going back to your original question, absolutely not do I see myself in love with that part of it. Like, I want to do it, but I want to do it my way. I was going to make a point earlier where I would much rather take the currency lane of podcasting, where you build your loyal fan base and you can do no wrong.
Oh, that's the
currency.
Ideal.
Yeah, that's the ideal space. You don't want to be Joe Budden or Joe Rogan because that's almost impossible to. And I don't like saying impossible, like something's not attainable. But I have no desire for that. I have no desire to be the Drake of podcasting or the Kendrick of podcasting, except the way Kendrick is big enough to where I can do things on my own. My name is big enough to where I can drop when I drop. I don't have to do the promo runs. I don't have to pull up to Joe Budden. And Drake, you say the same thing. People always get on him and Kendrick, for this matter, about when's the last time they did a black publication or sit down with black interviewers, things like that. Like, I don't have to go to Speedy. I don't have to go to Complex. I don't have to go here. I can just drop the music, and that's what it is. Ideally, I would love to just be able to drop the episodes and fade to black, but you can't do that in this new space. So now I'm trying to figure out, what does that content creation and brand look like for myself and for us and for the other people that we work with, because it's necessary. You could be, when I got into this even 5 years ago, you could survive without having any kind of YouTube page or any kind of video. That's impossible now. You can't even think about doing a podcast without having a YouTube, having video, having reels, all of that. So it's fascinating. I don't like the idea of having a brand, but I know you have to. And my biggest challenge right now is, what does that look like? How does that authentic to me, where I do enjoy talking to people, especially people who are passionate and know what they're doing, and I'm learning something from them. But small talk for the sake of small talking, or kissing babies, like you said, for sponsorships, like, I don't know if I love that, but I'm okay with the necessary evil.
I agree with you. It's fun when it's like-minded people, and Currency was a great example.
Yeah.
If I'm out and we're networking, we had an event and it's the Currency crowd, not him per se, but a crowd that I've cultivated that most likely are all us or on the same thing. You might run into 2 or 3 weirdos, but who knows? But everybody there is millennial, and they came to get in and get out, to get to the house by 10. They wanted somewhere cool to park. They didn't want to stand up all night. It was seats there, so they happy about that. Like the small things. Like, if it's people like that can come tell me, like, oh, I listen to you when I'm at work, or, man, my drive in when you drop on Wednesday is what I'm waiting for. That's fine. I'm cool with that. It's the other stuff. Like, I could do that all night, because that stuff was obviously there. Like I said, when I went to ABC, like, oh, like, people will come up, hey, like, what are you doing? But if it's the Hollywood, I'm doing this just because I have to be here, like, that for me is difficult. And that's what I'm trying to find a way around, like you said. But Currency was a perfect example.
Well, here's the other interesting point as I talk about what this looks like, and going back to Ack's point about the content creation. I do agree that this extends past. He said that podcasts are an extension of the content creation. I want to reverse that. I think the way I'm looking at it is, content creation is an extension of the podcast. You know what I mean? And not the other way around. So the podcasts are going to lead to panels, are going to lead to potential speaking engagements. Community is the biggest thing that I think is lacking, and that's going to be necessary to move forward. You have to have a solid core, listeners, and I think we have all of that. Supporters, people that want to see us grow. But I think making them feel part more of the community. I know we have bookworms, but as we launch this as we launch this book club, as we discuss doing these live events and curated events and things for them to make them feel part of, like, more of this community, because you're gonna ride for it. No different than the sports team, right? We look at sports teams. We both are miserable. I know you're doing a little bit better than I am right now, but I'm a Bengals fan. You're a Cowboys fan. We ride for those teams because we feel like we're a part of it. We got the, we put our,
because we got a big game coming up, and they try to jinx me. Or, you're a little bit better than I. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. I got a playoff game this week too.
All our games are playoff games this week. But my point is, you got jerseys. You invested in it. It's like a whole community. You feel a part of it. That's why sports fans, they don't say, oh, you don't say the Cowboys lost, we lost or we won today. Like, it's not that. And that's the next step for, I think, all podcasts. If you don't have that kind of like support base, if you don't have that community, if you don't have that investment, like shout out to Public Enemy B, man. Like, that is somebody, that's an individual who was a part of it and invested in what we're doing. I know, shout out, yeah, absolutely. I know that if we're throwing a live event in his area, he's gonna pull up on us because he's investing in what we got going on. And that's, you need a ton of those, even though I don't, he's one of one, but you still need a ton of those. And I think that's the important part of all of this.
That being said, you're absolutely right. We need to do us we need a reader to help us, a bookworm to help us with a Reddit page.
Yeah,
we need
all of that.
We need that another week in the books Reddit to develop the community more, 100%. But I agree with everything you're saying. I think the reason that the narrative around these spaces and what we do is it's dying, the bubble has burst, is because there was a misconception of what podcasting was. And credit to you and how talented you are. Credit to Mo. Credit to all of the people that are talented that I do podcasts with. People think, oh, you can just get a microphone and have a topic. That's not it, bro.
Right.
Like one of the, and somebody said this in the comments, you can tell me who once I say it, doing this on a week-to-week basis, especially at the clip that you and I recorded. Well, I record them there every day. And what people have to understand is, well, they don't have to understand shit. But what I would like them to know is this is an addition to life.
Yeah.
This is an addition to, oh, you got a rough phone call. Oh, you going through it with your girl. Oh, your homeboy this just happened to him. Oh, nigga, I'm worried about this, that, and the third. Oh, I got car problems. Oh, nigga, the pipe just burst in my house. This is an addition to that.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about people who on an everyday basis are dealing with life and they're like, God damn. But then can cut this on, and me and you here on Friday or Monday or Thursdays or whatever it may be. And it's like, oh yeah, nigga, that shit happened to me. But for 2 hours of my life, I had to totally X that shit out of my mind and come talk to Rich. And again, I'm not complaining about it at all. It's a privilege actually to be able to do that, to forget about shit that's going on every day for 2 hours. Like it's been a many a times where I've been getting ready to do not just this podcast, but any one of them. It's like, bro, I don't feel like doing this shit today. I had a long day. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm whatever. I'm over it. I'm tired. Whatever it may be. But at the end of them 2 hours, I'm like, God damn, I'm glad I did it. Because for 2 hours, that bullshit that was on my mind all day, I was able to forget that shit.
Yep.
And that's part of the beauty of what you and I do versus a Joe Rogan or a Joe Budden. Because it's like, bro, I'm not knocking their normal everyday lives, but they make enough money for it to like, the job is the job, bro. Nigga, don't nobody care you and your girl arguing. Don't nobody care your kid's sick, nigga. You make 15, 20, $30 million a year, a week, a month, whatever it may be to do podcasts. Show up. But for you and me, nigga, this is a passion still. So for me to go through some shit on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning and us coming to record this to be out by Friday, it's like, I did it because, I needed it. Just like you needed it. Like you wanted to hear it on Friday when it's supposed to come out. I did it because I was trying to get away. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah. I think, like I said, just kind of put a bow on it. I think the conversation is very fascinating because, as I mentioned, as you get into business ventures and you're in the space long enough to know you're ready for that next thing. And that's kind of where I am with it. I know that's where you are. And you just have a lot of content to put out there. It makes you think about what that looks like. Makes you think about the target audience and what you're trying to say. And it makes you think about who you are. What's our vision? What's our mission? But it's not just, and we just had to talk about this, it's not just the recording. It's the live events. It's the doing extra thing. It is sometimes trying to find and carve your own lane and content creation where I can make I can have my own brand within the brand where this is coming. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example, but some people do that where they'll make trivia clips or whatever the case is. That's what their page is dedicated for. And you try to figure out what's what. And just the perseverance, man, I think that's the greatest super strength that we all have. Everybody that I work with is that I mentioned Spotify Rap, man. I texted Rachel earlier today just a few screenshots of some of the results and just telling her I was proud of her, man. Just thankful for her, proud of her. And sometimes those numbers, when you peak at numbers, and this one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from my boy Good, man, my brother Good. I remember he was telling me, man, like, man, don't pay attention to nothing. Like, just put your head down and work. Like, don't look at numbers. Don't look at listeners from the week. Like, don't let anything discourage you, bro. Because if you just put your head down and do the work, I know you well enough to know this shit gonna work. And there are times when you feel like you got a fire episode. You look at the YouTube numbers, that the views ain't where you want them to be, or whatever the case is. But then you get stuff like the Spotify Rap, which we're going to talk about, where you're like, okay, then things are actually working. It still resonates. We're still growing, right? This is still a process, and it kind of puts a little bit of validation into what you do. But trying to figure out what that next step is and exactly how to carve it out, that's exciting for me. And I think that's what keeps me going in this space. I haven't hit the wall because if all you're doing is recording, I can understand you saying, I don't want to do this no more. So you talked about the podcast with Elliot Wilson, DJ Head, and Jeremy Hecht, which is ending. Right, they say they're going to work together again, but the podcast in its current form is over. That's kind of the one that, that's the one that kind of became popular during the Drake Kendrick battle. And
just I don't think what happens when you build something off of that.
And that's you took the words right out of my mouth. That's not what we do. We're not jumping on a wave. And we've seen, I know you've seen it over there with like Dead End and stuff, but for me personally, working on good earners, working on No More Half Measures, the community that we build and the amount of emails and comments that we get on a week to week, like knowing what that feels like, you want to obtain it in all your spaces because, man, that puts that battery in your back when people are waiting on it, they listening to it, they enjoying it, they understand your show. We got somebody, and I forget his name off the top of my head, but we got somebody who writes in the emails where you say you understand us, you know who we are, you get our humor, you get our content, you get what we're trying to do here, and that just feels so good when it's kind of resonated in that sense.
Let me ask you this, based off everything that you just said, because I agree with it. You make I don't want to make assumptions, so I ain't gonna say that, but I will say, would just being able to make a comfortable living off of this be satisfactory to you?
Like if I swapped out,
I don't know what your number is as far as what you make it work or whatever it may be, but if you were able to be like, you know what, I make enough money from the stuff that I do here, well, I ain't got to work. I ain't rich. I ain't poor. My bills are paid. I'm secure. I can use this to further investments or increase my portfolio and make sure that if for some God forbidden reason that this income stopped coming in, then I'm still going to be good. Would that be enough for you?
Yeah, because, and here's why. I know myself and the people I work with, it can only go up from there. Like, it'll never just stop. If I did this full time and I didn't have to worry about a full-time job, 40 hours a week, all that stuff, and I just had time to stop and create. And it's funny because I was not listening. I just had a conversation. I did something at work. I had this presentation I was a part of. And I was networking, ironically, afterwards. We had people in a certain department that I was talking to, and I'm just learning a little bit more about what they do. And the head of it was talking to me. He was saying, like, sometimes people get so task oriented. I don't want people like that. I don't want my team to be doing that because you can't, if you're a creator, you can't create in that type of mind. If you're constantly thinking, what's next? He said, I tell my people, like, I want you to sit down on the couch for a few hours today and just let your brain think. And that's when the ideas start flowing. And I think that if I had time, if I wasn't worried about, I got to meet this deadline at work and doing all this other stuff, I'm just sitting here and I'm just working. Because how many times, and I've told you know this, throughout the time we've known each other, so many ideas I done hit you with, like, yo, I want to do this, this, this. And there's things that we've done that can reach a good level that we just haven't had time to do. All of that would be carved out. And I'm saying all of this to say, if that time was there, I don't have, like, it would just increase. But the premise and the base of your question, I don't need a $10 million sponsorship deal. It would be nice, but I don't need it. I would like a shoe deal. Shout out to Club 520. I would like a shoe deal. I think that shit fire. And I think that's necessary to show you how wide this can go and how, I know Jeff Teague was an athlete, but
don't matter.
I love seeing things
Jeff
that you
Teague
didn't
get a shoe deal. 520 did. That's
exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I love seeing things that you didn't think were possible. That's my favorite thing about this space, right? My favorite thing about this space is things happen every single year that make me think, oh, you dreaming too small. You didn't think that was possible. You did that in year 2. Like, you really need to start doing those things that scare you. Start putting that shit down on paper. And that's what I'm going to challenge us to do. I'm sure we'll talk about it more as the year ends and wrap it going to 2026. But writing down that thing that's going to say, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do this. And we'll fuck around and do it because now it's in our head. I don't think we're those type of people that's going to sit there and just let it pass by. If we said we're going to do it, what you say last week, Spike, we don't use the word try. If this is a goal and we have the resources, we're going to make it happen. And I think that that's the next thing of just making sure that we're not selling ourselves short. The confidence and making sure we control this. We don't have to wait on anybody. We control this. We can make rules and we can bend things out we want to. So, yeah.
I'm of the same thought process of you in that. I don't give a fuck about breaking the bank. I can break the bank anywhere else. Yeah. But I do have a passion in doing this. And if my passion in doing this could sustain my lifestyle and my living, and then I could put that towards breaking the bank somewhere else, that's fine. But it's just like what you said. I'm not here looking for a $10 million deal from Spotify. It'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I ain't here for looking at iHeart. Yeah, I ain't here for looking at iHeart to come for the 8-figure check. I'm not here to do that. I'm here because, like what you said, of the community that we built, and people have shown that they appreciate it. Now, getting more people who I know that are out there to understand and appreciate it is my goal and my objective. And when I hear, like you said, all of the people who write in and the people that you mentioned that are a part of the community already, I know there are more people out there like that. And I just want this to be a thing, because if they don't do it, if they're not in content space, but it get them through their Monday through Friday, because literally every day of the week, there's a new episode of me doing something. And if they're a fan of me, and they can be like, well, I fuck with the movie review. I fuck with On Deck. I fuck with Another Week in the Books. I fuck with No More Half Measures. I fuck with Is the Mic Still On? All of these things that you do is getting me through my week, bro. That's great for me. And being able to make a sustainable living from it, that's fine. I don't got to, go break the bank. I don't need whatever it may be. So I think that's how Joe or academics look at it when they try to paint the landscape of it as this is dying. I look at 520 and be like, I would have never thought that George T, B. Him, and whoever the other nigga is.
Jeff T.
Excuse me, Jeff T. I wouldn't have never thought that them niggas would have a shoe deal. But that gives you the ability to dream, like you said. Like, it may be a year from now when a motherfucker like, I would have never thought that Rich and Lou from doing Another Week in the Books would have
a Nike deal.
A Nike deal. You know what I'm saying? So that screams to being great at your niche, being authentic in who you are is always going to be prevalent in this space of media, whether it be podcasting, whether it be streaming, whether it be doing TikToks, whether it be doing YouTube pages, any of those things, you just got to figure out the formula. So I don't agree with Joe that it's dead. I do think that a lot of people will start to fall off because they're expecting one thing and it's another thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wire. Shout out Marlo. You expected one,
man. You want it to be one way. It's another way.
It's the other way. Right. So I think that's the realization that a lot of people are going to start to face in this field in the next couple of years, and companies too. Companies ain't gonna be willing to give people money because you're a big name. This is not gonna happen because you have to resonate with people. And what we've established in a podcast like this, or with On Deck, or with Culture Garden, or any of the other good earners, like when you resonate with people, they interact with you, and that community extends in itself. Like we don't even do good earners no more. I wonder what it's gonna be like in a year or two when people are like,
"Oh, I'm gonna rewatch
The Sopranos." Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch The Sopranos. Let me Google and see, since the last time I watched, are there any podcasts? Let me watch it with them. Like that's going to live forever.
And that's something I can confidently say, and I mean this 100% with all my spirit and all my soul. That's the best Sopranos podcast ever created.
Oh, facts.
And I'm not saying that because I was a part of it. I'm a part of a lot of podcasts where I can get credit and props. Yeah, there's nothing like that podcast, which is what makes it special and unique.
Like what we did for The Sopranos, and we put it in a pinhole. We talked about it being black. Yes, that's fine. We were 3 black men that covered The Sopranos. And if you are black, you probably will receive it better. Yes. However, there is still not a scene for scene podcast for every show, every episode of one of the most popular shows ever that exist. So when you say, I feel like that's the best Sopranos podcast ever, like even the people that appeared on the show that did a podcast, they can't be like, oh, we broke down every scene in every episode and all. Like, they can't do that. We're the only persons that can do that. So
it's legit. It's legit, man. It's incredible work. So going to like I said, wrapping this up, it's the things like that to keep me motivated, and the finding out what's next, to figure out what is that next lane, and having great people to figure it out with and kind of execute on. I truly believe if we do the work, it's going to blow up. I just think we're that talented. I really do. When I say we, I'm not just limiting that to Spike and myself. That's Rachel, that's Mo, that's School, that's Ash, Mia, that's AB, that's everybody that's a part of this. That I just think the talent is there, and the dedication and the hard work is there too. So this is a great talk. I love to continue it as we continue to take our next steps.
Hope it went too inside baseball for y'all.
No, I think they will. I think they will. I like to think so.
Yeah, we felt like it was something for the people that fuck with us that need to be addressed by the end of the year. Just something to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, Spike Lou.
Okay.
Make sure that I got. Why is it not sharing? Is it not letting me do it?
89 over there.
There we go. This is funny guy. But can you see the screen, Spike Lou?
I can.
All right, perfect. So Spotify, and you're seeing a lot of the year-end wrap-ups. I know Apple Music just did theirs. YouTube has one. I don't know if I knew that in the past. This might be their first year, but YouTube has a wrap-up as well. And Spotify for Creators does one. So it's not just like the music that a lot of people get. This is for people who have podcasts on their platform.
It's my first time seeing this, by the way.
Really? Okay then.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay then. So I have 4 different podcasts listed right here, but I'm gonna go through another week in the books.
What is this right here? This is for another week in the books, or this is your podcast feed?
This is my podcast feed. So yes, this one specifically is for another week in the books. So you say at the bottom it says 1 through 4, or 1/4. I have 4 different Spotify podcasts at the moment that I personally upload on and things like that. They read our numbers. Yes.
Okay.
So you'll see, along with another week in the books, we have Culture Garden, Gridiron Jungle, and We Got Y'all, which is a television podcast. Okay. What we're about to look at is specifically for another week in the books. It's not a combined ratio. It's not numbers that are for all these podcasts. It's specifically for the past year of another week in the books. So that's what we're going to get into. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, click to see it now. It's uploading. Oops, I'm sorry. I got to share this screen now. I forgot it goes into a different screen once you do this. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can kind of see what we're looking at.
And if you're listening, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah, but you can hear us obviously go through. Okay, so your 2025 Rap for Creators is here. Spike Lee, I know this is your first time. We'll take a look at it. So it's pretty much just giving you a rundown. 2025, this was quite the year for you. A little proof that hard work pays off, kind of what we just talked about. Our audience increased by 83% from last year.
Damn.
Shout out to you, Spike Lee. It was great work. Audience increased by 83% from last year. Total new audience, 420% increase in the audience from last year. So the podcast is growing, and not just growing at a small rate, at a very large rate, especially for what we do. So that's pretty cool to see. As I said, just some of those markers that you get to make you keep going when you think like, man, ain't nobody really doing this the way they should or listening the way they should. People are out there paying attention. Our total followers increased by 49% from last year. So not just listeners, the people that subscribe and follow our page have increased 49% from last year. Continue to move. 27% increase in total listening time. So if you just take the minutes that we recorded and put out there for people to obtain, it increased by 27%.
1 out of every 4 people listening to the whole thing is good. I know other numbers from other shows, and that ain't usual.
Yeah, so that's a great thing. This year, 1 episode rose above the rest. That's going to be chapter 25 with Ken. Right place, right time. It was played 115% more than our average episode. So obviously that makes sense when you think of somebody like Ken, who has his own imprint, who has his own personality, his own brand, like we mentioned earlier. You're going to have people that say, oh, Ken's on this episode or this podcast this week. Let's go over there and see what he's talking about. And that brings an audience. So I think that's a good insight, especially based off the conversation we just had. We're still quoting it. That's just something that Spotify puts in there. Hot takes, love notes, and everything in between. So we mentioned that episode. That got the most comments, chapter 25. United States left 12 comments. The most comments were left on April 11, 2025. So we continue on through this raps. Your listening passport got a real workout. Now, Spike Lou, I wondered if you knew this about our show.
What's
21 that? 21 countries.
21 countries. Jesus.
Yes. Another week in the books was streamed or listened to in 21 countries throughout this year. How does that make you feel?
We do not pay bots, y'all. FYI.
Nah, hell nah. Y'all would know. As they say, there would be signs.
There would be signs.
But our top countries are here listed on the screen. Number 5 was Belgium. Number 4 is Sweden.
What?
Number 3, is it Latvia?
I thought it was Latvia.
It might be. I don't know. See, that's what, shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Number 2 is in the UK over the pond, bruv. And then number 1, of course, is the United States. Those are the top 5. But we reached 21 total countries, which is insane to me. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? To know the length that this can go.
Are there? No. It was a business.
I know what you're about to say.
Business questions we can ask later. That's fine.
Yeah, I know what you're about to say. Yeah, let's table that. Your show made it to the top of many fans' lists. So this is telling us we were a top 10 show for 52 fans, which is impressive. I'll take that. We were a top 5 show for 31 fans. So out of all the podcasts that they streamed, we were top 5 for 31 of those people, and we were the number 1 show for 6 people, which I'll tell you right now,
better than nothing.
Listen, to come in here with sometimes no agenda, just being authentic and talking about the things that are going on in our life and what we work towards and what we struggle with and deal with and being open and vulnerable. For 6 people in this entire planet to say that's my favorite podcast, that means the world to me. With no sponsors, no backing, no real social media presence the way we should. Once again, just another sign that once we put this work in, it can take vibes. Just vibes. So shout out to the 6. If you know those numbers that you're doing your Spotify rap, I've seen people in the past share them with us. Not here on this platform, but like Culture Garden, people have reached out and say, "Oh, they screenshotted and put it on their stories." Please do that if that pops up for you. All right. Now it goes without saying, your fans have great taste. What else are they listening to? I kind of alluded to this earlier. When it comes to music, our top fans are listening to Drake, Kendrick, The Weeknd, Clips, and Playboi Carti. That must be Nick with the Playboi Carti.
That's insane.
Top audiobooks. I'm glad my mom died. That's crazy. Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, Blood Over Bright Haven, Lessons in Chemistry, and Cuddy. This is a very interesting list
The
of books.
Kid Cudi book is crazy. Go back to the books. Go back a little bit.
Yeah. I got you.
Let me see those books. Lessons in Chemistry, Ishmael.
And I gotta figure what some of these are about.
I gotta check some of them out. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like, especially with another week in the books in the title, we gotta figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. So y'all can see it on YouTube. We might drop something as well online, so you can have a list. Top shows. So other people, people who listen to our podcast, these are the top shows they listen to. Frames Per Second at number 1. Is the mic still on number 2? Joe Budden podcast number 3. Blank Check with Griffin and David at number 4. That's a film podcast. And then Player's Choice at number 5. I think that fits right into, like I said earlier, about the brand that you built, Spike Lee. You said what?
What's Player's Choice? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up, though. I'm going to look all this stuff up as we move on. All right. Says,
yeah,
you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I make it a priority to on those other podcasts, especially since their platforms have been around longer than ours, to mention the work that we're doing over here. And of course, the promo helps too, that we do on Dead End Sports and other things. So shout out 100%. To the people who are listening and going across the Spike Lee, etc. universe and listen to all the shows.
Absolutely, man. All right, saying, okay, you might want to frame this. Let's see what they got for Spike Lee.
So
we get this loaded up. A 2025 rising star. This year, your show's growth outpaced 78% of other shows. That just speaks to consistency and showing up every week, even the weeks we don't want to, like Spike Lee mentioned earlier. A 2025 marathon show. Fans listen to you for longer than 91% of other shows. It ties into what you just mentioned. You know what it's like when people listen to, full episodes or 3/4 of an episode, whatever the case is. More than 91% of other shows, people are tuned in longer with us. The 2025 Talked About show. You receive more comments than 96% of other shows. It goes to that community I talked about, where it's not just about putting the work out, it's about having engagement and people that want to talk to you and listen to you. That numbers certainly go up, but we're happy for the 96%. And that does make me feel good in comparison to everything else. And that is pretty much it. That is our Spotify Wrapped for another week in the books.
That's good stuff.
I kind of asked you a little bit already, but how does that make you feel as you see those numbers come in based on the work that you put in week in, week out?
Inspired. Sometimes your head can just be down and you can just get in the minutia. And you spoke about this earlier in the episode, and it really resonated with me. You can get in the minutia of just doing the things that you do and not take time out to be a creative, which is the foundation of what we do. And those are a lot of the thoughts that I've been having in my head. We know what time of year it is. You're making New Year's resolutions. You planning for Q1. You're doing all these things. A lot of the thoughts in my head are, where is my creative time?
Yeah.
Like over the recording time, the regular lifetime, the yourself time, all of those things. Like I've built into my schedule, learning how to do this at the clip that I do it at over the last 3 years. But now it's starting to resonate with me again, to what you said earlier. It's like, all right, bro, you ain't being as creative as you were 3 years ago when you said you were going to do all the things you're doing now. Like you had time to sit and do these things and say, I want to be on more podcasts. I want to do more things. I want to create more spaces. I want to do more than just on deck. So I took time out to figure out how I would do that. I picked up Dead End Sports. We did this. We created this. We did Good Earners. We've done No More Half Measures. Like there are things, best episode ever. Like there are things that since 3 years ago, I started putting this much effort into recording, and it's great. I love it. I appreciate it. This is the space that I like to be in. But I've also had to honestly ask myself, where is the creative time? when are you taking time to plan out like you did to plan out these 3 years? That's my thing that I need to address.
Yeah, I would love to. I want to have a conversation with you before these years out about. Me and Mo talked about it briefly, just about making sure that you're serving the things in this space and they're serving you. I know I've talked to you a little bit about maybe sometimes less is more and figuring out a way to take things off my plate and what that looks like. It might be more difficult than what I'm able to see right now, but it is something worth at least having a conversation, in my opinion. So I want to have that conversation at some point. But what you just said is very important. These are my final thoughts on it. First and foremost, thank you to everybody who supports us. I know we said that week in, week out, but all the bookworms, man, you have no idea what realizing and kind of having a number to what you do. It means the world to us, because there are no real metrics that I'm looking at. Like I said, I'm putting my head down. I'm just working. So even if it's just one time a year where I get to see, oh, this actually is growing. We're getting more listeners. We're getting people following us. Like, we're being listened to more than 91%, or I guess, all those other numbers that we had. It means the world, and it motivates me to go even harder and figure out how to increase those numbers. Because I'm one of those people where I want to appreciate it and I'm in the moment, but I'm also thinking of, okay, how do I make sure next year this number, we don't have a decrease or anything like that? Or they're skipping different parts because they don't want to discourage us, because you know what? Yeah, I ain't really do too hot. People didn't listen to as much. So growing that motivates me. But to your point about being creative, there's something that's always fascinated me. And I've heard this, it might have been 10, 15 years ago, and I can't remember where it was from. But it was a concept of Eddie Murphy being too famous to do stand-up anymore. And the idea was, he was such a big star in the 80s. He had two classic stand-ups. And people always wonder, like, why don't you do it? And why be going 30 plus, damn near 40 years without putting one out? And somebody had the theory of, like, Eddie Murphy was just too famous. Like, can't leave the house famous. And this is pre-social media, right? Everybody knows who you are. And they were talking about that, the world of comedy. So much of your comedy is relatability, right? So you're too famous to go to Walgreens in the middle of the day and be standing in line and see some goofy interaction between somebody in front of you and the cashier, where you can look at that and say, oh, I can make a bit out of that. I can make a joke out of this, right? Because it's a relatable thing. Well, you're not having those human interactions and experiences anymore. So now your relatability goes out the window. So going to your point, Spike Lou, I want to make sure I never get too, and this is all, this has nothing to do with fame. Yeah, this has nothing to do with fame, but my point is, I never want to get to a point. Hard. I don't want to get to the point where I can't be in the Walgreens anymore, figuratively, and be able to see the things that still relate to the people that our audience is and who we talk to.
That's crazy that you say that and put that story, because I swear to God, I thought about that on the way home today. Like, just doing too much stuff as to where you forget to pay attention to, oh no, this is a funny podcast story when I'm in the line at McDonald's and these people is wild. Like the story I told on here a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Like, I could have easily been doing too much. Like, nah, I got to figure this out, and told Buddy, like, bro, I don't want to hear nothing about you and your home. Like, I don't care nothing about that. That is divine intervention, damn near, that you're saying that, because I literally was thinking that way, because I feel kind of like that now. Like, I'm not paying attention enough to bring to the table the entertainment that people want to hear from. Yeah, it's cool that you guys get up there and you talk about current events and you talk about these topics that make you vulnerable, but also, what's a day in the life like? Because a lot of people listen for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people listen for, as you said, when I came on here and told the story a couple.
Spike's about to start doing Get Ready With Me videos, y'all.
No, I ain't doing it at all. But I do need to start.
Go ahead and set up that tripod, my nigga.
You pull out, whip the car out, then got to come back and get the tripod.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But to your point, I do need to start paying attention more, because I find myself so much focused on, okay, I'm doing this right now. I'm standing in the line for the pizza, the coffee, or the burger, or whatever it may be. And now I'm texting Rich about what we're going to do tonight. I'm updating AB on what we're going to do for On Deck. I'm updating Notion for what we're going to do in our reviews this week, versus just paying the fucking attention. And that's where a lot of people lose their fastball, when they can't stop paying attention. I watched Kevin Hart's new special over the weekend when I was at home with my family.
Me too.
Lost his fastball.
He did.
Like
he's not relatable to the common person.
He too rich now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't be that fun. Like it's going to sound like hating the people to listen, but you too rich because now I'm listening to you and you talking about stuff I don't find funny. When you talking about your dad being a crackhead having a sweats on with no drawers, that's funny, nigga. I've seen that. But when you telling me about the shit that you told me about this last stand up, it's like, nah, you too rich. I don't care. I didn't see that. And I don't want to be that person. I still want to be the person that people can relate to and be able to pay attention and not be too focused in what we're doing.
100%.
So that's a good point.
That's a perfect way to end the episode. Spike Lou, as we look at these numbers, man, I just want to tip my hat to you. Tip my hat to Mo, who was an intricate part of building this. And we got something special, man. And I still don't think we scratched the surface of what it is, and we're still putting things together. But it is good to come here every single week and just figure it out in real time. And let's make sure we stay present and we stay paying attention to those small details of our day-to-day life and continue to bring them here. Literally, it's in the name. Another week in the books. Like, what happened this week? You know, that's kind of who we are and kind of the brand we're trying to build, and while also just being honest about those things. So, Bookworms, we appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for Reddit. Yeah, somebody started us a Reddit. Somebody hit us up about wanting to head this book club that's going to come in 2026. We also, one thing I think as we talk about community that we really need to to start emphasizing or thinking about is maybe one of these weeks, 1 week a month isn't a normal episode. Maybe it's a live, right? We talk about that streaming world. Maybe it's an IG live or a YouTube live where we announce ahead of time we're going to be streaming at this time and we just do a live episode. And you either there or you ain't. But maybe that's another way to get real-time engagement and the whole nine. But with that being said, we appreciate y'all out there. We're going to figure this out and figure out what 2026 looks like for us. We still got a few more episodes this year. We'll let y'all know the schedule as far as
so we're going to be recording. Most likely before the end of the year, we're going to take 2 more weeks off.
Yeah, we might take the week of Christmas and New Year's off and then just be right back to the top of January.
I'll be expecting that, but we'll be back into the normal flow of things about the second week of January.
100%. So always a pleasure, my brother. Until next time, see you on chapter 49. Let's get better this week. We out.
Peace.